Tales of Squeam. There are two types of people who get too big for their boots. Show-offs and people with feet that won't stop growing. This is protective clothing, because today's tale is wild, wet and wheelie whopping. So up with those umbrellas as we meet the giant who grew too big for his boots. In a tiny cottage in Wales lived the world's biggest bully. He was a giant called Hugh. He had a purple tongue, which was swollen from all the eating that he did. And when he shouted, it stuck out and sprayed the room with spittle. Fetch me a cow sandwich, mother, or else I'll sit on top of you and squash you into a meat paste. One morning, after a light breakfast of 27 buckets of cereal, 14 apple trees, and a trough full of tea, Hugh roared, "I need more space!" Why? Because this cottage isn't big enough. My toes stick up the top. So Huge Hugh went round to his neighbours. "I'm Huge Hugh and I want your house."
You can't have it. It's mine.
"Then I'll stand here all day and say a lot of things, beginning with S. Seashells on the seashore. The seashells are seashells for sure." A few seconds later, Mr. Sparrow and his family waded out of the back door. Huge Hugh moved in and went to sleep in the large room downstairs. It hadn't been a large room before, but it was now. When Hugh woke up, something very strange had happened. He had grown bigger! "I need more space!" In a nearby village, a freak rainstorm swept down the high street and ruined everybody's washing. Huge Hugh wiped his lips and looked for somewhere bigger to stay. Beyond the trees, he saw two villages. Mine! But when he got there, the streets were deserted. "Too scared to face me, eh?" "I am trying to conduct a service, you horrible giant. Now go away." "Well, I am trying to find somewhere to sleep." "Shove off, Hugh!" shouted the congregation. "Shove off yourselves!" spluttered the giant. The villagers swam to safety, and Huge Hugh had found somewhere warm to spend the night. He wriggled into the two village halls, lay his head on the library, and kept his toes warm in 10 greenhouses. In the middle of the night, however, he woke with a start. He was freezing. He had grown again. "I need more space!" In nearby Scotland, a freak rainstorm swept the length and breadth of the country and ruined everybody's hairdos. Huge Hugh wiped his lips and looked for somewhere bigger to stay, like London. He drank the Thames, ate the pigeons in Trafalgar Square, and sat down on Buckingham Palace. But no sooner had he done so than he grew again. "I need more space!" By the time he had a toe in Ireland, Hugh was 600 miles high, and Great Britain was suffering from the wettest April in living memory. The President of America panicked when he saw Hugh standing on the other side of the Atlantic and phoned him up. I have to warn you that if you take one step towards the US of A, I will shoot you out of the sky like a dog. A flying dog, obviously. But when you're as big as several small countries, you don't have to listen to anyone. See ya, sucker! After a quick snag of 3,000 sheep, 4 fields of carrots, and a factory of stout, Hugh stepped across the ocean and ate the American Air Force for pudding. I need more space! In nearby Africa, a freak rainstorm swept the length and breadth of the continent and ruined everybody's crops. Huge Hugh wiped his lips and looked for somewhere bigger to stay. But there was nowhere left for him to go. He slept with his feet in Australia, his bottom in India, and his head on a pillow of snow in the Arctic. He was bigger than the world. And still, he kept growing. The next day, he found himself in the farthest corner of the universe. I need more space. But there was no more space. Huge Hugh had taken every little bit of space in the whole galaxy and beyond. Then he had a visit from an unmanned satellite. I need more space, and I'm still hungry.
Not a good idea. If you bite on one of my aerials, a great big windbag like you is going to burst.
I'll show you who's a great big windbag. I'm absolutely ginormous! Bigger than everything in the universe, Hugh! And he popped the satellite into his mouth, whereupon one of the aerials pricked his fat tongue. It was raining hard as Hugh picked himself out of the mud. He needed to find somewhere warm and dry to sleep.
I'm Huge Hugh.
Oh, really? Said the snail.
I need more space. I want that house on your back.
Oh, do you? So do I. Then he slid up to Hugh and slimed all over him.
Oh!
Squeaked teeny tiny Hugh. And he never asked for more space again. The weather got better too. Oh, mind your back, Spindleshank. Oops.